Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another Deep Thoughts. Hope everyone's doing well today on this beautiful day. Today is October 13th. I don't know when this will go up. October 13th, 2020. Crazy times to be alive. But what's most important is that you are alive during these times. And we're all going to make it through. We're all going to make it through. Ties in a little bit to what I'm talking about today. With a quick controversy. This is something, I want to try to sum up in a smaller amount of time. Something a little bit controversial. Which it really shouldn't be. When you get down to the meat of it, this shouldn't even be controversial, really, but everything's pretty controversial these days. Excuse me. Especially when you have, two sides to things. Everyone's got their own opinion about something, and everyone's kind of getting their information from somewhere that is creating their opinion and their beliefs in the way they think and how they feel about things. And just understand that there's literally two different movies going on right now at the same time, okay? It's like you're at a drive-in theater, and, I've only been to one my whole life when I was, like, a little kid. But I remember I went to the drive-in theater and for, like, a Crocodile Dundee movie. Get down. Already. Anyways, I remember going to a drive-in theater for a Crocodile Dundee movie, probably like the last one that was made, where he's like in Los Angeles or something. And I remember, staring at the big screen outside, watching our movie. But over here, it was like John Travolta's Swordfish movie was playing. But you couldn't hear the audio because you can only hear the audio to the movie that you had. But I kept getting distracted by the John Travolta movie and what was going on over there. That's kind of what's going on right now, folks. We're all getting our information from kind of different places. And so if somebody has different information or opinions or conclusions than you, don't be shocked or offended or surprised because they're just watching a different movie, man. Today we're talking about QAnon, or QAnon, as I say. I don't really know what the exact correct way. It would probably be QAnon because Anon is short for anonymous. And basically, QAnon is Q Anonymous. So what is QAnon? I think a lot of people have been seeing it pop up more and more lately. And they're going to keep seeing it pop up more and more until it's in everybody's faces. And people finally have to confront it and stop avoiding it and calling it a freaking conspiracy theory. What is QAnon? Some people think it's a conspiracy theory. Well, QAnon is literally a person or persons who still actively to this day post on the internet. So how can that be a conspiracy theory? It's someone or probably multiple people going online and anonymously posting. And still to this day, they are. Well, one of your first questions after hearing that might be, well, how is it possible, or how would you know if it's the same person continuing to post after 3 years and it's not just constantly some new troll or prankster taking over or, just some rando? Well, if you get deep into the QAnon community, you'll be taught some things. See, here's the problem. Going back to information, because this is all what QAnon is. Basically, it's information. And a different way to get your information. So basically, what you'll learn is that QAnon first started posting I think it's like very first post was like October 30th, 2017. And it was at first on a website called 4chan. A little key pin. Down, man. You're not going to stay down. Started posting on this website called 4chan. And now I've still never to this day been on 4chan, and I don't know exactly how it works, but if it works anything like a website called 8chan, then there is a way to post anonymously. Basically, it doesn't keep track of something, I don't know, your IP or something, I don't know. And I don't know, besides how to verify all of QAnon's first, earliest posts on 4chan. But except for the way that the person posting as QAnon or Q would write their messages, and it's in a very specific, somewhat cryptic way. Of course, always signed Q. At first, it probably wasn't, it was so specific that people probably just caught on to this person that kept posting these weird governmental things and kept writing them so specifically, people probably just kept believing it was the same person over and over again. But I could tell you, at some point, QAnon moved to a website called 8chan. Okay, and this is like an extension of 4chan. And on 8chan, there's what they call trip codes. And the owner of 8chan, which it's formerly 8chan, it's now 8kun, because they took 8chan down for reasons, obviously. You have what are like trip codes, and it's possible everyone posts, has random trip codes and posts totally anonymously on this website. Okay, I'm telling you, the fact that nobody's even been able to track anybody down that's been posting as Q at all really proves to how anonymous it must really be. Even to the point where this conspiracy theory they tried to deem it a terrorist threat. But you can't even find the troll posting these posts on the internet with all, the CIA and all the technology we have and the NSA. Really? But if it's been proven, if you follow, and I've been following since around this time on 8chan, going on almost like 3 years, a little over 2.5 years. Stop it! My daughter. At one point, the owner of the website 8chan started working with this person as Q and set them their own trip code to where people know every single time when it's actually Q posting. They're the only person that has their own specific trip code to identify them, so as a way so everybody knows if it's really the same person. So it's at least been narrowed down to that. It has to be someone or people working together at least in the same, I don't know, doesn't have to be the same vicinity, I guess, but just people working together to post as this poster with the same trip code every time. And they've been doing it for like 3 years now, okay? That is what QAnon, or who QAnon basically is. But people, even who follow it, don't know who it is who's posting, okay? The only thing that has been proven time and time again through evidence, clear evidence, And you're only going to get it if you, and I'm going to show some examples of it, throughout this video, as much as I can in a little short amount of time as I can, because you really got to look into it for yourself. You got to get into the meat of it and get into the community of it and start following it, because you're not going to get this information from reading any news articles written about it, because they're all incredibly biased against it for very, very specific reason. Okay? So, this person, or people who have been posting as Q, have proven through much evidence that they are very much on the inside of what's going on in the political world right now. To the point where they've posted pictures of them traveling aboard Air Force One. And again, they point to specific evidence. You have to find it yourself usually. That's the point of the community. It encourages people to figure out things for themselves and research things for themselves. Q will post a picture of, outside of the Air Force One window, Well, how do you know it's the Air Force One window? Well, you got to look at what's in the picture. Oh, there's there's an island or a big island or something out in this ocean. Well, what island is that? Dude, these people, I'm telling you, these people who follow QAnon, I don't do any of this justice, and I never will. I barely have anything to contribute to it. Have been so amazed and in awe of this whole movement, because that's what it is. It's a movement. And the people behind it, the real researchers, what we call Anons, the Anons, the anonymous people who are on, been on 4chan and 8chan and now 8kun, who still to this day dedicate hours of their day just researching and figuring these things out. They are so brilliant. They'll find other pictures of Google Maps of that same island, of that exact same island. They could pinpoint it, of where it is on the map, the axis and latitude and everything, okay? And they can show, and they can prove it. Oh, that island is in the South China Sea. That's by China. This picture was taken at this time. Q posted it at this time on this day. What was happening on that time and that day? Oh, you go to Donald Trump's Twitter. Oh, he's tweeting he was flying to China. Oh, okay, we know. Then that picture was most likely taken on a plane going to China the exact same time Donald Trump was going to China. Coincidence? This is the QAnon phenomenon. Okay? It's compiled so many coincidences that it's no longer mathematically possible to be coincidences. That's the point. It's to continually show people evidence over and over and over again until you have to start to wonder, what's going on? Is this true? Is that true? Is this a lie? Is that a lie? I've been, like I said, following QAnon for almost 3 years now. And I first discovered it around April 2018. I had already been starting to lean towards this kind of, right-wing conspiracy theory mentality that was being so pushed in media, and, basically just stereotyping all of this and stereotyping people who follow these things. I guess I was being pushed towards that avenue, but it was only because I saw so much hate and so much arrogance and just so much negativity coming from the other side, the left, if you want to call them. Okay, I know there's so many good people over there on that side, but seriously, the know-it-all attitudes, the virtue signaling, the high and mighty, look at me, oh, I'm a good person, I hate Trump, oh, I'm a good person too, I hate Trump, oh, hey, look at me, I hate Trump, does that make me one of the good people? That attitude pushed me so far away to start looking at the other side, okay? It started with things like Alex Jones, who I know now is garbage. He is, okay? But he can start a lot of people onto some truth, but you gotta understand, Alex Jones is a fraud. I'll get into that in a future video. People like Ben Shapiro, I don't know if I buy into him anymore either. But I started looking at and listening to these people and started to understand some of their side of things more But it was more through a bitterness, more because I wanted to rub it in maybe other people's faces or something. I don't know. It wasn't coming from a good place until I found QAnon. And QAnon really connected everything into how powerful the truth is and how asleep we have been as a people. And it's happened throughout history time and time again. And that's the other thing that I love about QAnon is it points to history and brings up a lot of history. I've learned so much history. You can call it a stupid conspiracy theory. You can say QAnon's fake, false. Maybe it will end up all being just a trick at the end. But I've learned real information about the Freedom of Information Act and just how powerful that is and what documents you can get from it and just the history of our nation and just how it's been clouded and so much, just mistruths and just there's so much manipulation behind everything. And it's all a lot to take in at first. And when I started taking it all in and how QAnon was framing everything, it was a lot. And I was so overwhelmed with excitement and I don't know. I felt like I was really discovering something so important. I really tried to put it out there and share it with people. And to this day, a lot of people aren't on board with it. They're not. And I really have a feeling that's going to continue to change over time. And it already has. Again, I've been in this community for 2.5 years, dude. I was on it with Reddit. And again, the Reddit has been shut down. The Reddit's been shut down. Facebook's pulling all QAnon accounts. Twitter's trying to purge all QAnon accounts. Hey, baby girl. There's a reason why they're trying to erase this whole thing and try to hide this movement and cover it up. I'm telling you. It's so hard not to get off on so many different tangents. I'm trying to stay focused. Hey, baby. But I was on it with, I started, Reddit was like one of the easiest ways for me to just see the QAnon stuff and people to, to put it out there for dum-dums like me to understand. Reddit was a great place for that. And I saw this Great Awakening subreddit grow from like 10,000 people to like 80,000 people within months. And then it got shut down. It was incredible. I've seen this movement grow so huge. I've seen Twitter accounts from all over the world quoting QAnon but when I say quoting QAnon, there's many QAnon quotes that Q says time and time again. Q repeats themselves an awful lot, and I think that's important. And I think what they're repeating, they repeat it for a reason, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little excited. I really love it all. There's the most famous quote where we go one, we go all. And it's actually a quote from a movie called White Squall. But that is probably the most quoted thing because this whole movement, man, and I'm telling you, if you look at the news, what do you see? Do you see anything in the news that points to anything with people uniting or any kind of unity, any kind of peace, any kind of love at all? I barely watch the news anymore, but I see lots of highlights and I try to tune in from time to time, and even just their articles, though, online are the same. It's just so much fear-mongering and so much, doom and gloom, and that's how the news always has been. They constantly are just keeping the negativity in the air. But when you go to QAnon, it's all about positivity and unity and all of us uniting and us being strong, united together. And QAnon points to how the media and so many people and politicians want us divided on purpose, because that's the way to break people and control people, is to keep them fighting amongst themselves. It's really something else. It's really something else. It's totally changed my life in a way. I don't want to be dramatic, but it's changed my whole perspective of things. And so when I got into it at first, I got real excited about it. And I think, and it's hard not to, I'm telling you, because when you finally, when it all clicks to you, and again, maybe it's all wrong, maybe it's all fake, but I'm telling you, you do learn so much truth from it. But if it all clicks for you, you just want to tell the whole world about it. You just get so excited about it. And some people were turned off about it when I started to share it, these kinds of things. And I understand. I haven't always come off the right way about it, and I'm always trying to learn how to change the way I portray information and try to share information with people or opinions with people. It's something I've got to work on. I really do. But I know I need to work on it because, again, the heart of this whole QAnon thing is about sharing the truth with people in a loving way. You know, I'm telling you, it really is all about all of us, from all religions, all races, all ethnicities, everything. QAnon has said it time and time again. It is not about all of that. We can all come together from all those backgrounds once we realize who the real enemy has been. And history repeats itself. And if you look back through history, which I've been looking back through an awful lot because of all this QAnon stuff, you see how people have been ruled over time. And we've fallen back into that kind of rule. You know, America has an ugly, muddy history, but it really did all start because people were finally trying to break that system of rulers ruling people, finally, once and for all. And we did for a while, and it's just kind of sunk back into that way again. We've allowed ourselves to be ruled once again. But once we as the people realize that we do quite literally have all the power, and we stop fighting amongst ourselves about all these little issues, and not little issues, big issues, they are big issues that do need to be fixed, but we cannot ever fix them when we're just fighting ourselves. We need to get to the root of the problem and really focus on all these people that have been manipulating us for all this time. That's just a lot of the stuff that you can learn in this QAnon movement. Okay? It's gotten such a horrible rap, again, because the QAnon teaches you to go, that teaches you that the media is trying to play you, constantly is trying to play you, and they just are. And so the media doesn't like that Q is teaching people these things. So, of course, they're going to trash it over and over again and call it a conspiracy theory and call it racist and misogynist and all these other things that it's just not. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you that on places where QAnon has posted on the internet, places like 4chan and maybe there were places where QAnon communities grow, like Reddit, okay? And 8chan and 8kun. These places, understand, they are brutally honest. Okay, they're filled with very honest people who just want to be honest. And some of them want to be mean, and some of them want to hurt people and say hurtful and mean things and just troll. Okay? You have to accept that. You can't be in your little safe space, okay, or create a little safe space where you're not hearing some of the bad, mean things that people are saying and bad words and stuff like that, okay? Because that's just reality. That's real people. Those people are always going to be around. I'm sorry. But when I say that, because if you ever venture onto these websites, you're going to see some horrible language. And you're going to see a lot of people calling each other horrible names. But it's what freedom of speech is all about. And that's why these spaces on the internet are so important right now. Because they're taking away freedom of speech, literally. I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump. I don't care how much you hate the QAnon conspiracy theorists. I don't care how much you hate flat earth conspiracy theorists. I don't care how much you hate it all. You can't censor them. That's not okay. It's not okay to censor them or fact check only them, or take their articles off the internet or delete their accounts. It's not okay. You can't pick and choose that, because I hate a lot of the crap that you guys are always saying and all of the disinformation that you're putting out there, a lot of the hateful, negative things that you're saying about people. Okay? But you have every right to say it, and I will die for that right, for you to say those things, because that's how it's supposed to be. Okay? Let me wrap this up. QAnon is a movement trying to get people together from all facets of life, from all backgrounds, all across the world, together to try to collectively use their brains and think about just how much the world's not right, and how much we've been lied to, and how we keep falling for all these tricks, and to wake up from it all. That way we can finally come together and defeat the enemy. The manipulators, the controllers, the oppressors, all of that. The kings, the rulers. That's what I believe QAnon's really all about. There's probably ways to interpret it. There's a lot of different things you can get out of it. Okay? I'm in it for the peace. I'm in it for the enlightenment. I'm in it to see where these things go. I'm in it to see war criminals finally be held accountable for the things that they've done. I'm ready to see people tried for treason. That's a big part of this thing. And we're already seeing real information about that coming out now. With John Ratcliffe declassifying these documents, guys. It's all real and it's all coming out. Oh, man. Really need to wrap this up. Okay? There might be some things about QAnon that end up being false or fake or trickery, okay? I'm still going to stay open-minded to that. But I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff in it is coming true and is coming out. And QAnon's going to be continually looking more and more real. And you're going to see all these Q-tards popping up more and more and more. And we're going to get louder and louder and louder and more obnoxious. So you better start really having open-minded to all this stuff being true. And if you really want to learn about QAnon, you got to, I'd hate to send you straight to 8kun. Like I said, it's kind of a brutal place sometimes. I love it. It's the most free place on the internet I've ever been. If you don't want to go to, and I'll put these websites down in the bottom. If you don't want to go to 8kun, where QAnon actually posts, the only place QAnon posts is 8kun. It's the only place where QAnon posts is 8kun. Okay? But there's a lot of people that are great at giving, or what's the word? Disseminating? I can't think of this word I'm trying to think of. Great at portraying the information for dum-dums, okay? I'll try to link somebody, like Praying Medic is a really good one on YouTube who talks about this stuff. There's lots of good Twitter accounts to follow. And then, there's a lot of, there's a few good websites. Again, another one was just shut down recently, but there's a, good website. I think it's QAGG.news. That is just an accumulation of all, over 4,000 or whatever Q posts. I'm telling you, there's over 4,000 Q posts to read, okay, over the last 3 years, guys. And I'm telling you, out of all, you can find hundreds of articles written about QAnon, and not one of them has probably ever quoted a Q post. Ever. They just always say the same thing over and over again. It's a fringe conspiracy theory that says Donald Trump is fighting pedophiles and da-da-da. I'm telling you, that's not really everything. There's so much more. Again, that's an interpretation, okay? There's real information to learn from this, guys. Real information about treason. You can learn about our judges. I've learned so much about our Department of Justice, about Congress. I've learned so much from following QAnon, okay? So stop falling for, again, the manipulation, because it's exactly just proves Q's point. When you just read news articles and are like, oh, that's QAnon, wow, Q sounds really stupid, I'm never going to check it out. You're just proving Q's point, dude. You got to look into things yourself. You have to, even if you don't want to. It's the only way to truly become more enlightened and to just really get closer to the truth, I feel. So Man, I could talk about Q all day, but you got to really look into it for yourself, folks. All right? Always. Think for yourself. Research for yourself. All right? This has been Deep Thoughts, Quick Controversy. Got to get ready for work here. Got another episode I'm trying to work on here as well. It's a real good one, real special one. And, yeah. I love you guys. I love you all. I'm telling you, we're all going to come together in the end. That's what life's all about. Good people always come together in the end to fight evil. Every time in history. Okay? We're going to do it again. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and think freely, think often. Next time. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Say hello, world.
Hi.
say, deep thoughts.